Hey guys, this is Wiley Y here again with my map overviews of the CSGO beta maps. This is Dust 2, as you can probably tell. This is probably the most popular map in Counter-Strike. They have made modifications to it. They've added scaffolding and they've removed quite a lot of things. Visually, this is a completely different map. Visually, it's not. It hasn't changed much layout-wise, but it has changed visually, as you can tell. Things like the sand, most of the sand is gone, so you're going to hear a lot of concrete footsteps. So getting started with the major changes, these boxes here aren't necessarily what will be double stacked, they're now single stacked, so you can't really stand behind and get much cover. You can kind of crouch and get cover, but not really stand. Jumping down is pretty much the same, except this area here isn't exactly a spot that you can sit in cubby hole behind. The cart is the same, these boxes are a little bit bigger but nothing too major. You can't walk through that gap anymore, so you have to go around this area. And that tree now becomes a telegraph pole. Anyway, coming in here into upper B tunnels, not much really in the layout has changed except the scaffolding here, and that is not, it's spammable, but it's going to absorb some of the impact of your bullets. So you can kind of stand here, and it's going to block you too. These boxes here have changed slightly, just making it even easier to get onto. There's a box here for some strange reason, I don't know why. I'll come back to lower in a second. I'm just going to run into B real quick. B bomb site hasn't changed much. The car is still here, that box is still there. These double boxes are still here, those double boxes are still here, although you can't get up in the corners like you used to. This box is now kind of just cardboard boxes. You got those boxes to get in and out of the window, they're the same. The doors are orientated the same way as Counter-Strike Source, so when you're looking through them you look directly into the site. Now you can get up on this wall from pretty much anywhere, as you can see. This box has changed in such a way that you can't see the heads from over the top of it like you used to be able to in Source, so it just provides cover more than anything else. This box back here, the second box, has been moved out even further, so you can kind of see them when they come out through that gap there, if they come out the tunnels and go left. So it's going to make it a bit more interesting to see what happens and how people play back here. Those boxes you can't really get up on top of. You can get up in these ones, but you can't get up on the big one. Well, I don't think you can anyway. First box is gone. That's the major change in B, really, if I'm honest. First box is gone. So yeah, quickly running out of B anyway. Those boxes are still here. They've changed the shape of them slightly. The window kind of ledge thing is still here, and you can still go up here to look into the site for that kind of general area. But there's not really going to be somebody standing there as such because first box is gone. So we'll see. That scaffolding you can get up on. I'm just going to quickly jump on it just to show you what it looks like. You can't hide in these the crack in these anymore because they're too small. You can get up on this one which essentially has changed the kind of rock thing from that what used to be here in Source to basically scaffolding, so you can still pick short and things like that. The truck is still, there's a truck here, I don't know, this kind of area, the layout has changed slightly, and picking it with an AWP through T-spawn is going to be slightly different. There's still a little bit of a ledge kind of raised area here, but it's slightly different. Other than that, mid is still roughly the same. Running through CT spawn, the kind of edges of the boxes have changed, but the boxes are still pretty much in the same position. These boxes are pretty much in the same position, although there's slightly more of them. Coming up into a bomb site, this box is still here, so you can still pick short. That box is still here, and those two boxes give you cover from on the A ramp and A bomb site. This area here has changed slightly though. There's additional building structure here, so you're not going to be able to bounce a flash off and over like you used to. But it does seem a little bit wider. There's the barrels and kind of those kind of like steel barrels and these kind of grain barrels have moved around slightly, but nothing too different. You can't get up on the kind of quad boxes anymore. This kind of gay spot is still here. They've put these ledges here, which I don't know why. It's just going to stop people when they're blind and just pushing forward, and you might get stuck on them if you get, especially if you're running with a person next to you and they bump you over. The major change to short is this box is now single stacked rather than double stacked like, let's say, those boxes over there. So picking is going to be even more treacherous, especially if there's an AWP over there. Short though hasn't changed much, except there's this little thing here, and you can hide in this kind of area a bit more. So they provide you extra cover, but they've made it even more annoying with this thing here. Now, I'm going to show you mid real quick. If you jumping down, and I'm going to show you lower. So that box is not much has changed. You can still get up on it, as you can tell. You quickly go into lower before I go up the rest of the mid. Up to the rest of mid. Sorry. You can't get up onto these double boxes anymore in lower, and these are smaller. So when you're jumping up here, you can't quite see up there. Although because of the fog, it makes it even more hazy. But I'll get to that in a minute. Mid hasn't changed much. These kind of little cracks here are a little bit bigger. The tree is gone. There's now a telegraph pole as well, and I'm pretty sure you can get up there. I'm pretty sure. I haven't done it, but I'm pretty sure you can. Now, before I leave mid, this kind of picking mid area, it has changed. It's a little bit more difficult to spot someone. So they've made holding short a bit easier, in my opinion. Now, going through Sniper's Alley, the boxes are no longer jump up. You can't jump up on top of them, so that's changed. Going over to outside long, it's pretty much the same deal outside long in the sense of the cars and boxes are still the same. The doors going long are still orientated the same way. That box has changed slightly. There's an additional box up there, so getting up on top is going to be a bit more difficult. Now, the doors are orientated the same way now, so picking long is going to be the same. This giant kind of bin thing now has replaced the wooden box that used to be here, but it's generally the same sorting. There's a little box here that you can stand on top of instead of a big box, and they've added these weird little ledge things here. Don't know why you'd stand there, but they've added them. I think they were always there, but they've made them a bit more easier to stand on top of and things like that. Now, pit is identical. When I say identical, it looks identical. The wall here just seems a little bit bigger height-wise. I don't know why. It's probably because they've dropped the pit a tiny bit, but yeah, this whole kind of platform area is the same, and this wall here is a little bit wider, so you can run along. It just looks wider. It's just kind of like, so if people do stand up atop and run along it to kind of pick that angle or this angle, it doesn't look as sophisticated as seeing someone standing on like a 1-inch wide wall. Now coming up along, all this area is generally the same. The barrels are still there, the cars are still there, and not much has changed. Now, before I finish this video, guys, I just want to come back on one little thing. I'm going to go to T-Spawn. It's just to show it. It's to do with the fog on the maps. Now, a lot of people have complained, and Valve and Hidden Path Entertainment have listened. Now, I'll explain what they've listened to and what they've done about it. Picking mid, it's not as bad with, let's say, a pistol, but when you've got a sniper rifle and if you're picking mid, that whole kind of gap there just seems to have a bit more fog, and it's a bit more difficult to spot. Yeah, it's kind of half a psychological thing. It doesn't make it any more difficult to pick them and see them if they're crossing from CT spawn. It can throw you off just because it looks different. The difference is, though, on other maps, it's more like Train, it's more pronounced in areas, so that fog makes actual distinguishing between a friendly target, like a teammate, or an enemy even more difficult. So what Valve and Hidden Path Entertainment have done is they've added in what's known as the SE maps, and they're for competitive play. Now what they do is they get rid of all the little junk decals like pots and little things like buckets that we'll see over here, like that little bucket there is removed, and the tires and things like that. But what else they've done is they've removed the fog. To the best of my knowledge, the fog is gone. So looking down mid is a bit more colourful, it's a bit easier, and it's a bit easier to see people. Now, I'm speculating here, but I assume what most people will do with the public servers and things like that is they'll just load those maps up as the default maps on the server instead of the normal Dust 2 maps, because it makes it easier. It's just so much easier for people to spot people. So anyway, guys, that just about wraps up this video on Dust 2. Not much really has changed with Dust 2. It's more of a cosmetic kind of overhaul rather than an actual layout compared to, let's say, something like Nuke and Train. So guys, I hope you like these videos. I hope they're informative, and if you have any questions, once again, just please leave a comment and I'll try and get to them and things like that, because I know a lot of people want the beta, and I know they don't have access to it, or just the access to the beta is quite restrictive. I was lucky enough to get my key through a competition, so I feel not obligated, but I feel like I should give a bit of information out to people who don't have it. So thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.